So I'm going to try to make this video very quick. I just want you to notice something. Now, Meredith has been called out multiple times by other content creators for stealing people's content. Bill uploaded this video 6 months ago. I typed this in to send this to someone. I watched it, and then I typed it in to go send to someone, and then hers popped up right below it, and it was posted 2 months after Bill's. And you know what's shocking is the fact that she uses almost every single word that Bill used in his video, like verbatim. It's a little too coincidental for me. And we need to talk about this. She is a hearing individual who had the privilege of going to school to learn ASL. When there's deaf children and deaf people who still don't have access to their language and still don't know their language, we are still fighting for access. The White House now refuses to have ASL interpreters during press briefings so people know what the hell is going on because they don't give a shit about deaf people. But this hearing woman can go to school and have that privilege, and then after she's done with school, she can make a YouTube channel, gain hundreds of thousands of followers and subscribers, and make money off the views that she gets. And then she can make merch with a language that is not hers from a culture that is not hers. $30 for a Be Kind t-shirt, $50 for a hoodie, not to mention if there's shipping. And I'm going to say this one last thing. Hearing people should not be teaching this language. Hearing people should not be teaching ASL, period. Full stop. There is no argument anymore. You can interpret. That is a completely different thing because you are not teaching. You go to school to learn ASL to become an interpreter so you can interpret for the deaf and hard of hearing. You yourself are not teaching a language that you are not native of. Okay? This would be no different than if I was to learn Japanese or Spanish, go to school, become a teacher, make a YouTube channel, start teaching Japanese, and then teach it wrong sometimes. And don't admit to my mistakes. I leave those videos up. And then I decide, you know what, I want to make some merch with Japanese on it. And then I profit off of that merch and off of a language that is not my own. And then I get upset and aggressive, and I block people who ask if I put that money and the profits that I make off a language and a culture that is not my own back into their own community. This woman blocked me on Instagram and on TikTok when I asked her, hey, as a deaf person, I'm just curious. Do you put the money you make off of our language and our culture back into the community since you are a hearing individual and had the privilege of going to school to learn our language when, a lot of deaf people don't get that privilege? And instead of answering me, she blocked me. One more thing. If you're going to teach a language, I do not believe that your religious beliefs, if you're going to have a web page advertising your product, advertising you as a teacher, I really don't think it's appropriate to be bringing your religious beliefs into the conversation and make it all about your religion, because she has an entire half of a page full of nothing but her church, what her church does, and how she participates in interpreting for her church. And I mean, it is church madness. Even in the video that I just showed. Even in this video, she talks about, well, context matters. The situation matters. Sometimes when you're signing with a friend, you're going to sign smaller and you're going to sign different. But when I'm at church and I'm interpreting for my church, I have to sign bigger. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it bothers me so much, but it does. It does. Because I understand giving an example like that, okay? Completely understand that. If it wasn't for the fact that she's got her religious beliefs plastered all over her YouTube and almost every teaching video and all over her website. If you want to make a separate account talking about your personal life, your religious beliefs, go for it. I don't care. It is the fact that you are using your teaching platform to then bring about your religious beliefs. And I just don't believe that that's right. If I was teaching ASL, I would not bring my beliefs into that whatsoever. I would make separate things on a separate account talking about stuff like that, because that's respectful. That is respecting everyone's point of view and everyone's religious beliefs if they have them. It's just another white Christian cis lady just profiting and making bank off of a culture and a language that isn't hers, off of a community that she is not connected with whatsoever. And I also found out that she is not a coda. People keep claiming that she's a coda, and she's not. It's nowhere on her webpage. It's nowhere on her Instagram. It's nowhere on her TikTok. I even asked her if she was a coda. No, she's not a coda. So she has no connection whatsoever to the deaf community. So why is this acceptable? Why are we supporting this? We need to speak up about things like this because a deaf person should be teaching ASL. And the views that she gets is nowhere near what a lot of deaf teachers get. A prime example is ASL That and One Fact ASL, people who actually teach. And Professor Bors, oh God, I don't remember his name. These are actual deaf teachers who have channels on YouTube. Their subscribers are nowhere near what hers are, and their views are nowhere near what hers is. And in a lot of her signing videos, there are a lot of mistakes. And people have called them out, and she has kept the videos up. She doesn't care. So there's my little rant for tonight. Just be on the lookout and be aware of what's going on. Maybe if you comment and ask her, hey, the money that you're making off the merch that you make, do you put that back into the deaf community? Because I'm really curious about that. I mean, all she did was buy a bunch of shirts and hoodies for probably nothing, and then put our language on it, and now she's selling it for 30 and 50 bucks. This is so grotesque. Like, it makes me physically ill. It's ironic. It is so fucking ironic that the video underneath it is sickness. Oh man, that is so funny to me. If you made it this far, thanks for watching this video. I'm sorry again for the rant and the long video, but this is just, God, this is so disrespectful. I could never imagine doing this with another language if I learned it. If I learned Japanese, I could not imagine getting a hoodie and putting Japanese words on it and then selling it and profiting off of it, and then not putting it back into that community to help with anything. You know what I mean? Like, this just... Again, this is very oddist